All right, good afternoon, CFM. Coach Matt on a Friday. We have multiple strength elements today and then a fun bench press burnout set at the end that you are going to love because it's lots of fun. All right, so we're gonna start with 3 minutes of your choice warm-up pace cardio, and then we're going to band hamstring curls. So put your feet through the band like so, creep out away from the rig and get those curls in. Try to really get a good squeeze of your heels towards your butt. Don't rush these and make sure you feel a little burning sensation in your hammies before you finish that. Next one is a banded Spanish squat. So you need a different band. You should have a heavier band for this one. And I'll loop it around the rig like this. All right, so this is one of the yellow ones. I put one end of it behind one knee, right? And then that's wrapped around the rig like so. Step through with the other leg, right? So I've got one end of each of those things around the back of my knee, and then you kind of use your judgment to get equal tension on either leg. You might have to move left or right. And then we're stepping way away from the rig and we're down body weight as we just hold this isometric position as upright a torso as I can get and shooting for vertical shins on this. And this is a really good patella tendon recovery exercise, building that isometric strength in the knee. That's one of our favorite knee strength exercises, so specifically for the joint. Next, we're gonna do single leg heel taps. And for that, I do need a plate, which I neglected to get out. Forgive me. So heel taps, I've got my plate out, standing on the edge of the plate, just barely bending down, bending that knee, touching the heel in control, squeezing as I go up. This is a slow exercise. It should take you a minute or so to get all 20 on each side, right? And then switch to the other side, same thing. Just barely bend that knee. You wanna make this a little bit harder. Just reach out further and bend that knee a little bit further, okay? But you don't need to push into a lot of depth on this. It is not a squat. It is closer to that Spanish squat, right? Where we're just bending the knee, holding for a second, and then extending back up. Bending the knee, holding for a second, and then extending back up. The last one is actual squats. So warm up reps with our barbell on the back squat. And then we're going into our back squat strength sets. We put this at the beginning because it has the biggest demand on it as far as percentage goes. So this will be the toughest part of the workout. Also the part that you need to rest the most in between. So we're going up to 92-ish% on a double. So that should be close to a 2-rep max. Make sure you just feel that out, okay? If you are in the middle of the set and you're not making your 80-something% sets, it's probably not the day to go up to the heavier ones, and that just happens, okay? If you're feeling fantastic and 92% feels like you could have gone heavier, then that's another cue that maybe your overall strength has improved and you need to adjust what you base your percentages on. So we always want to be in that threshold range. When we look at 2 at 92%, what we're really asking for is like really, really close to a 2-rep max where I probably couldn't do 3 reps, okay? So that's a different way of looking at it, is the rate of perceived exertion method, okay? All right, next we're gonna go switch the pins and the rack up. So I'll take my squat weight off the bar and I'm putting a bench press weight, I'm putting a shoulder press weight on. We're going to do seated presses. So I'll have the rack set up for bench press, but what we're doing is the seated press, all right? So around 65%, trying to add about 5% per round, but not to failure. So I'll sit right in front of the bar, grab the bar off, and then I'm just doing sets of 5, starting at 65. So the first 2-3 sets should not be too tough. The last sets should be very challenging. And then our superset for those is going to be, let's see, alternating dumbbell row and static crucifix hold. Yeah, so alternating arm dumbbell row, which means I have my 2 dumbbells and I'm in my bent over position, right? I'm gonna go left, right, and I'm trying specifically not to twist my shoulders. I'm using extra core tension on the front side and on the back side to prevent my shoulders from swiveling as I do that, and just pulling with one arm at a time. Only one arm moving. Try not to have both arms moving at the same time. Do a complete pull and extend on those dumbbell rows. And then the last one is just our crucifix hold. So we're just standing with two objects in our hand. They could be a pair of light dumbbells, they could be a pair of plates. If you're feeling froggy, go for a 10, 15-pound dumbbell and hold it there for 20 seconds static, just standing in that good posture position, okay? Do that as strictly as possible. If your arms start to droop or fade down, it's too much weight, do something that you can hold the entire 20 seconds for the crucifix hold. All right, and the last thing that we're gonna do is a bench press burnout set. What I'd like it to be is 5 sets through, but it can filter up or down depending on how you do it, okay? But in general, what we do is we pick a increment and then we add multiple loads of that increment on the bar to a top weight. And so I'll use an example would be 95 pounds, right? And we did that with a like 5, 5, 5, 5, 5 on the bar. So I have a 45-pound bar and I've got 5 5s on each side, which would total 25 pounds. Or if we did a normal 25-pound plate, that would be 95 pounds, right? So I have a spotter and loader on either side. So there are 2 people standing on either side of this bar. I have 95 pounds on the bar. I do as many reps as I can do. Let's say I get to 16 and I'm like, oh, I can't get it off, all right? So now the spotters would help put it back in the rack, and then they would take off 1 5 from each side. So how much do I have on the bar now? You're right, class, it's 85 pounds on the bar, and now I pick it immediately up, as many reps as I can do. I'm not gonna get to 16, I'm gonna get to maybe like 7 or 8, and I'm gonna be, failure. All right, spotters pick it up off of me, put it back in the rack, and now they take another pair of 5s off. Now it's at what? Correct, 75, very good. 75 pounds, max reps. Now maybe I only get like 5 or 6 or 4, but I'm starting to feel really, really crappy right now. Pick it up off me. Another set of 5s off. Now I'm at 65 pounds. Same thing, as many reps as I can get. Counting total, maybe I'm at like 30 something reps now. Last 2 off. I'm at the empty barbell. Why does this empty barbell feel so ridiculously heavy? And then when I can't do any more, that's my last rep. Spotters pick it up off me and I'm done, okay? It should be like 3, 4, 5 minutes depending on your level of strength and what you pick for your first increment, right? So if you do this with 10s, that is what, 145 pounds on the bar, going down to down in increments of 20. If you pick 2.5s, it changes, right? And you can have a little bit of leeway there, but the principles are we take small increments off the bar. Every set is to failure, meaning you're going to try to put it back in the rack. I know you're going to do it, and I want your spotters to not let you put it back in the rack until you have stopped, until you have lost the ability to put it off your chest, okay? So there's an uncomfortable feeling of failure, and we have to bump up against that uncomfortable feeling 5 times in this set, okay? Maybe 6, depending on how far you get to it. All right, so 5 increments, even increment weight decline every single set. Spotters and loaders to help you to stay moving as fast as possible. So in other words, if you are doing the loading and unloading yourself and you're putting it back in the rack for yourself every time, it's a dramatically different experience than if you have loaders who are pulling it off for you, who are not letting you put it back in the rack and who are forcing you to go to failure and keeping you moving the whole time. It's a much, much more powerful workout when it's done that way, but it is more uncomfortable, okay? And you'll learn about that when you do it. I'd love to hear your feedback on this workout. It's one of my favorites. It's an old school bodybuilding workout that feels fantastic when you get done. All right, have a great one. I'll see you guys on Saturday.